Hello, guys. I am so excited to be here today. You know, I did this presentation last year and talked a bit about social media management and how I use Dubsado. And this year, I just feel so much more excited because since then, we've used it for so much longer and we have so much more experience with it and use it in so many different ways. So I'm really going to walk you through today some of the key ways we use Dubsado, and I'm going to show you some things in Dubsado that's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. So I want to make this as applicable as possible to people in the social media management industry. So let's hop right in. So, this is me, myself, and my sister Mercedes. We started a company called 705 Creative about 5 years ago now. And when we started this company, we honestly didn't know anything about how to run a business and, what our back end would look like and the operations procedures that we would need to put into place. We were just two university students who were super passionate about social media marketing, absolutely loved it, and wanted to work in this industry. So we really started from nothing. And I'm sure, many of you here have been where we are. You maybe don't know that much about running a social media business or the back end of your business, or you're somebody who knows social media but wants to streamline their processes and really give their clients the best experience possible. So Dubsado can really help you do that. So I'm going to talk about some of the issues we run into when we're running our business next. So when we were at the very beginning of our business, we really ran into a couple of issues. We were sending invoices through random softwares. We were, sending them manually at the very beginning. We really didn't have a CRM or a client management system or any simple onboarding process that made our lives easier. It was actually very difficult for us to compile all the information about our clients together in one location. We also had no client portal, so like anywhere for our clients to look for our old invoices and old documents and contracts and things like that. And that was a big issue because oftentimes people would ask us, oh, where is a copy of our contract? Or, where's a copy of our old invoice from 2 years ago? And we didn't know where that was anymore. How would you? And third, we were doing every contract on paper. So we'd have to meet people in person and sign contracts and then also keep them somewhere. So that was a really big problem because, a lot of people, especially right now, they don't want to meet in person and sign contracts. And also we were sort of limited to the scope of where we could have clients because we didn't have a way for us to really, sign contracts in a convenient way. So those were the main issues we ran into, and the reason why we started looking for a software like Dubsado. The biggest reason was I really wanted to start having a CRM. As we had more clients and more inquiries, I really wanted a place where I could, understand what leads were coming in and, move them through the different steps in a really easy way. So why do we use Dubsado in particular? I looked at a bunch of different softwares. And there's a couple reasons why we decided to use Dubsado. The first one is I love the aspect of Dubsado where you're able to keep information about your clients and a lot of stuff in one central location. So even though, as our business has grown, we have a number of team members, we're able to centralize a lot of information, and that's really important to me. I also feel like Dubsado makes it really easy to warm leads and get them to the next step in the funnel. And I'll talk a little bit about funnels later. But it really makes it easy for them to sort of know what the next steps are and where they're heading, which is super important when you're trying to close more clients and really grow your business. It also simplified our onboarding and billing, and I'll talk a lot about that later. But that was really amazing for us, and it made my life a lot easier in the day to day when it came to billing. And I find that that's a big bonus and plus for me. So today I wanted to make it really clear the certain things that I'm covering. So I'm going to cover how clients book appointments with us. This is a really big question I get because a lot of people use schedulers like Acuity or Calendly or things like that. We don't do that. We use a Dubsado scheduler. Even though it's technically in beta, I've never really had a problem with it and people find it very easy to use. Two, what their client file looks like in the back end and, call logs. I'm going to be talking about that because to me, that's a huge benefit of Dubsado and something that as we've grown our business, we use more and more frequently. Third, I'm going to cover how we do onboarding because this is something I didn't really touch on last time exactly, but I feel like it would really benefit people, especially in the social media management industry. Or I'm going to talk about ongoing billing. So most people who do social media management do reoccurring billing. So this is something that will save you a ton of time. So you don't have to bill people one at a time. And it's all in one place. So super simple. Okay. First thing I'm going to talk about is our funnel. So when you have a business, clients enter a funnel in terms of sales. They're not just they go through different stages and different steps that get you to ultimately signing the contract. And this is really important to know and be aware of your funnel. For us, the big part of our funnel tends to be referrals or people who found us on social media. So those are people who maybe message us or DM us. Then the next step after that is booking a discovery call with them. So we chat together, we talk about our services and our offerings and how we can help and see if we're a good fit. Then I send them the proposal, and the proposal leads right into the contract. So when they receive it, basically they can review the options, they can select an option, and they can go to the contract. So that is one of our funnels. We do this one is talking about specifically referrals and are people who come from social media management, but we also have a similar funnel for cold leads. So for example, if we had messaged someone over cold email or DM'd them on Instagram or whatever, and they were interested, they can then do the exact same thing, book a discovery call, get delivered the proposal, and sign the contract, all in a simple stream. So that makes it super easy. Now I'm going to actually go over how that's done and how we book discovery calls. So how we book appointments. Let's talk about that. I am actually going to show you what our booking appointment page looks like. So let me get out of here and I'm going to open this. So this is actually Dubsado's scheduler tool. So I actually send people this link. The one that ours actually looks like, it says R705 at the beginning. So it says 705 Creative Portal or something like that. But it takes people to here. So when I send them the link, it takes them to this page. And this page says, yes, I want to book a discovery meeting with Bianca. And it allows them to pick the dates and the times. So I only open myself up for discovery calls 3 days a week. So my whole week isn't inundated with calls. So if they wanted to book on the 17th, for example, they could pick 9 a.m. And it actually takes them, and I've set this up this way, and this is something you can do. It takes them to this form that's attached. And the form says, please give me your name, your last name, your business name, email, phone number. If I don't already have it, it'll pre-populate if I have it already, and also a little bit about what they'd want to chat about. What I like about Dubsado is things are always connected. So once I collect their information here in this form, it populates for the contracts and the proposals and things like that. So I don't have to keep retyping the same information in different places. Once they give it to me once, I have it forever. So that's awesome. So that's how I book people, how they use this scheduler. I'm going to open my presentation again. So once they book a call with us, what I love is we've set up an email that they receive, and it says this: hey, thanks for booking a chat. We're excited to get to know you. Here's the date and the time and the meeting link. We've actually, this is a recent feature they've launched, and they didn't have that last year. It's the integration where you're able to give links to Google Meets or Zoom or a couple of other ones, and it's made our lives a lot easier, and it's been amazing. So basically, it automatically generates a link for them to go to the meeting, and it puts it in my meeting calendar and everything. So once they booked, they just have this meeting link and they get this email, and I don't have to do anything. It just does it on its own. So that's awesome. And I don't have to worry about giving them a meeting link last minute. The next email that they get is 1 hour before their actual appointment. So that is a reminder email. And that reminder email says, your meeting with Bianca is soon. This is a reminder you have a meeting coming up. I blocked out some information on these so I wouldn't give away any client information. and it says their name usually at this part. It says, hi, hey Taryn, this is a meeting with Bianca. And then it says the date, the time, and the meeting link. It also gives them the ability to reschedule or cancel their appointments, which is really helpful because there are times when people have to reschedule last minute or cancel, and it just sends me an email saying they'd like to reschedule and they can rebook. So it's super easy for them to reschedule as well. So this is helpful in terms of, just taking away the effort from having to do it yourself. So that's really it for booking appointments. Okay, I'm going to show you just how to set this up really quickly. I'm not going to go through it in detail because you can learn from the Dubsado tutorials, but I will show you. So the actual scheduler is located under templates. So you would go to templates and it says beta there. So you'd go to scheduler. And when you open that up, it lets you make a ton of different schedules. So you would actually have to add a template, add whatever the name is. So, scheduler, sure. Scheduler Bianca appointment. Clients will see this, so keep that in mind. So don't name it something weird. Then you want the duration. So let's say it's a 30-minute appointment. How can this be scheduled? Do you want a rolling day window? So for example, for them to be able to see 2 weeks, or a fixed date range, only a couple of days ahead of time, or do you want them to be able to see indefinite amounts of days? I generally keep the rolling day window and I give them 14 days. Then I would, once booked, you want to show in your calendar as busy, and the location, you click add video conferencing, and you have to set that up. So I'm not going to show you how to do that. So you can look in the Dubsado tutorials for that. But yes, you would add video conferencing. And then once they've scheduled the email, so you can ignore this. This is like if you want to email them the email, what email do you want to send them using the scheduler? But if you go to advanced, this is the cool stuff. So I always do prevent booking less than at least a couple hours in advance. You want to create a buffer window, maybe of 15 minutes before the appointment, just in case it goes long or anything like that. And I also, like some people set a maximum number of appointments per day. That's always helpful. Let's say you want only 3. So this is the welcome message, confirmation email. This one I customize. So my confirmation email, as you can see, I have a lot of email templates and things like that. So this is confirmation email. Scheduler, you can make one. So this is the one, thanks for booking a discovery call, that I use already. And then I also make them, like I said, fill out that additional form. So that form I made as a lead form. So it's called Let's Get to Know Each Other. And that will come second. And then I also do the notification email. So this is the reminder email. So it's saying set up, send an email, let's say 1 hour. That's what I do, 1 hour before the meeting. And then I've also made an email reminder, Bianca's appointment reminder, and add. So now that will send to them 1 hour before. And then I also like the monthly view generally with the scheduler. So I put this on, but it doesn't make that much of a difference, monthly versus weekly. It's personal preference. So that's it. So that's the advanced of how you would set that up. So that's really it. Once you're done, you click save. I'm not going to save it because I don't want to mess up my current schedulers. And you'll be able to view the link. So you can actually find the link. So I'm going to cancel this. So for the one that I just sent, it's Discovery Meeting with Bianca. You can actually find the link here, copy link, and this will open up. And you see mine says portal.705. And this is a link I actually send to clients. You can also put in your website too, so that's pretty helpful to some people. Next, I want to talk to you guys about the client files and the client portal. So this is something I use all the time, so I wanted to share how I use it, what it looks like, and also how it's helpful. So let's get started. So once a client has been added, this is sort of what the back end of their client file looks like. I'm going to move myself down here so you can see better. It has all the emails that you might have sent them, the invoices, the forms, which is like proposals and things like that, the appointments that they've booked, workflows that are going on. I'm not going to talk about workflows in this video, so you can look up more tutorials on that. but then you can also see tasks and notes. I don't use everything in this, but I do use most of it. The one that I use a lot, obviously, is forms. So we have a couple of different forms that all of our clients use. So for social media, we actually have the proposal, which I'm going to show you right now. We have a new one. This is our older proposal. We've used, I don't know if you haven't heard of Dubbins. It's a way to code your forms and your proposals, so it looks more like a web page than an actual form, and it's really beautiful and it's helpful. But for a beginner, using Canva graphics and actual images is really easy to do, and that is what we use in our original proposal, and it still looks great. So I'm going to show it to you here. So this is our proposal, our old proposal template. This is actually an image that I made in Canva on white. This is an image, and this is some text that we put. And then this is some of our package, a sample of some of our packages. So we have all of our, this is also Canva stuff. So all of our packages include this stuff. And then we have, this option starting out, we have the growth option, and we have the influence option. This is done in columns, so you can just stick 3 images in the columns. And you're able to actually select here which package that you want, which makes it super easy for clients. And we also have add-ons. Again, these are all just Canva graphics that I stuck in. And just put the button underneath for package selection, okay? So this is easy for a beginner to make. What I would say is, I found when we were doing it, the easiest way to do it is to imagine the proposal on white. The reason why is because when it's on white, you don't have to worry about, what sort of the separation of the images and things like that. I found it the easiest to put it on white, so it sort of looked like it was part of the actual written proposal and not something completely separate. At the bottom of my proposals, I also put in some client information. The reason why I put that client information, and gather that information right away, is because actually it populates the contract. So our contract, obviously there's nothing filled in, so you're not gonna be able to see it. But our contract is actually pre-populated, so all they have to do is sign at the bottom. That is it. So it's very easy for them. They can go in, they can pick their stuff, and then they can sign. So that is what our proposal looks like. A lot of people give us compliments on this Dubsado proposal, but I definitely think it's very achievable for anybody to make this themselves and make their proposals look as good as we did. You don't have to be complicated and do code if that doesn't work for you. Let's go back to the portal. So in the portal, we also send all of our social media clients a planner workbook and a work order agreement, which outlines all of and I'll show you this, a preview here, all of the actual deadlines and dates for what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. If this is something that isn't included in your workflow, it's something I would definitely recommend going through and just saying to them, this is what's going to happen in the next few weeks. This is who your project manager is. This is the payment schedule. Yes, we all agree to this. So that is what our backend looks like. And their backend actually looks like this. So this is the client portal. And when they open the client portal, and I'll show you the onboarding email I send them that will help them with all this information, looks like this. It says if they have an unsigned contract, if they have any incomplete forms. So usually they'll see the social media workbook in here. It says if there's any open invoices, you'll be able to view that here. So it's really, really helpful for them to be able to go in here and see some of their project files when they booked a meeting, for example, and things like that. This is the one I wanted here. So this is, it says their contracts and their incomplete documents. It also lets them edit their client information. So if that's not correct, they can always edit it, and that will then show up on their invoices. Okay, and then also all the emails and things that we send. That's what it looks like for them. One feature I use really often in our back end versus, on their back end is actually this feature at the end. So we were just in forms, but if you click over to the end here to notes, this is something I use really often. So this is actually the call log. So there's an activity log, a notes, and also a call log. I use the call log all the time. When we have a discovery meeting, I put the notes in the call log. It'll say something like consultation meeting wants XYZ. Then I'll put in every single call that we have after that. If I take any notes, I'll actually put them in this project call logs. The reason why I do this is because it allows me to see A, how high touch the client is and how frequently we're communicating. B, what we talked about in the last meeting. And C, it's just a very good way to keep all of the client notes in one location for anybody, not just me, to refer back to on our team. So it's really, really helpful and something I use all the time. The last thing I'm going to talk about is onboarding. So I'm not going to get too into detail, but I did want to show you the one email that I send to our clients right when they sign the contract that goes over everything in one place. So this is a really incredible email, and I believe I actually took the template from a Dubsado template. So, Dubsado tries to make your life easier in a lot of ways. So this is an onboarding template that I'm going to share. 1 second. So once I'm in their file in emails, I am able to pull up this email template, okay? And feel free to steal this because I think I stole it from Dubsado. This is what it says when we send clients an onboarding email. It says, welcome to the 705 Creative family. It's official. We're so excited to be working on your social media. Here's the next steps. 1, pay the deposit. So it takes them right to their invoice using the invoice button, and they can just be able to pay it right then and there. It's awesome. Step 2, check out their client portal. Again, another direct link to their client portal with their login information. So they'll be able to access that. I also tell them to save it. So if they ever want to refer back to it in future, they can. Number 3, I tell them to work on their homework. And the homework is reviewing their work order agreement, which is, again, what I showed you. It has all the dates and timelines of what's happening, and to also complete the social media planner workbook, which asks them a bunch of questions, and it's a questionnaire basically that asks them all about their social media and what tone they want. And I also believe I took that from the Dubsado templates. So, and rejigged it from my own stuff, but we took that from there too. So there are lots of helpful templates in Dubsado that can help you, work out your process. Then I just say, in the coming days, we're going to be sending you some other stuff, et cetera, and let the fun begin. So I don't have to rewrite this every single time. I actually get this at the bottom when you actually write an email. So it says send email. You click that. It pops up a blank email. You go down here to this little bookmark, and all of your bookmarked emails are sent there. So I have onboarding, social media onboarding, and there you go. It populates their name and everything. And I just have to click send. And it's really that easy. So that's how we do onboarding. And, the start of our onboarding process really just starts in Dubsado, and it's super, super simple. The final thing I'm going to show you is how to set up reoccurring billing. So this is a feature that I use for every single social media client we have because it makes my life easier. I don't ever have to think again about if I need to send them another bill or what's on their bill or whatever. It's super simple and it will save you time in the long run. So I will show you how to do it. So in the back end here, we're actually in this invoices tab here. And instead of doing the invoice list, we actually go to reoccurring invoices and you click add. And then it asks you how often you want to send it and when should it start. So I set this up right away for clients. So I'll say every month, starting on, let's say today, ending never or whatever. If your contract is 6 months, you could use 6 months. And then I put in the title, social media invoice, and sometimes I do dash, and I just leave it blank, and then I populate the months once it's already made. And then in the line items, I add one of our packages. So we have all the packages saved. Let's say they wanted this social media growth package, sure. And then I add that, and I actually add the payment schedule, pay in full with reminders, which means they have to pay 100% of the invoice in 21 days after this invoice is created. And it has automated reminders to send them the day the payment is due, and 3 days after the payment is due, a reminder email. So that saves me effort of having to remind clients if they are slow. So once that's all set up, and that was what took me 1 minute, I click start reoccurrence and it'll send them the email. And then every single month it'll make new invoices for them, and I can just rename them with the month if I want to, or I could just leave it. And then, yeah, that's really that simple. It makes invoicing really easy for me, and I don't really have to do much. It just does it for me and emails them an awesome email, and they pay, and it's simple. So that's something that I use all the time, and it saves me time, and it really makes a huge difference. So I highly recommend, if you don't use reoccurring invoices, you should definitely start to get your cash flow rolling. Final thoughts for you guys. I know I talked about a lot of stuff and I went through it quickly. I didn't want to be too overwhelming with it, but I probably was still anyways if you're new at Dubsado. But I just wanted to say, for my final thoughts, this software does a lot, and I don't even use all of it. I could do tasks, I could do more workflows. There are things that I have set up and have worked on over time, but I would say when you're just starting, you don't have to use everything. You can just start with some things. For example, reoccurring billing and contracts are a really simple and easy way to start that doesn't have to be complicated. So even if you're not using everything, you can use some things and still have Dubsado be an amazing tool for you and your business. And then my last thought is less is more. Um, when it comes to using Dubsado, sometimes when you're trying to set up everything at once, you make a lot of mistakes. And I did that. And I should have had somebody test it for me, because I was trying to learn along the way and use it for clients. And in that, I made a lot of mistakes. I sent clients invoices that were or proposals that were expired. I had errors in my setup and emails, like different spelling errors and things like that. So I would say, if you're completely new at Dubsado, don't get overwhelmed. Start really simple, less is more, and just use the stuff that is essential to your business and learn along the way. Okay? Test is also another good one for that. All right, this is the section where you can ask me any questions. I'm obviously recording this in advance, but I'm going to let you type some questions for me in the little chat bar. I'm happy to answer anything Dubsado social media related. Like I said, I know I overwhelmed you guys with a lot of information, but do not stress. It's not the end of the world if you aren't sure about certain things and want to ask questions. So put them in the chat for me. I don't know where the chat is, so I'm just pointing everywhere. But let me know and I'd be happy to answer them, okay? I'm going to move on to my close, but I hope you chat me and I will answer any of them for the last little bit. So before, I answer some of I'm probably answering already, but I just wanted to say that I actually have a free Facebook group called Becoming a Social Media Manager, where I actually answer a lot of questions about social media management and give free live trainings every week. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'd be happy to, you can join the group. I'd love it if you came, and I share Dubsado tips in there sometimes, but also just general, tips on running a social media management business. And lastly, you can use our discount code 705 Creative if you would like to sign up for Dubsado. I believe this gets you some special things, and I'd be so grateful if you use that. I love to help people, pick the right tools for them for their social media management business, and I love being able to share information with you guys. So if you have any questions for me, if you need anything, you need some advice, I'm always around and happy to answer. So please reach out to me, or you can also, follow me on Instagram at 705.creative. Yeah. So thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you guys in the chat and soon. Thanks, and have a great day.